It's Friday, June 17th, 2022, and this is the Washington Times front page. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. U.S. Border Patrol agents caught 15 people at the southern border in May who were on the FBI's terrorist screening database. Stephen Dinan reports that number is a record for any month, equaling all of 2021 and more than the Border Patrol found from 2017 to 2020 combined. They were among nearly 240,000 total migrants that Customs and Border Protection arrested in May, the most of any month for the Biden administration. While arrests were up, seizures of drugs in all four major categories, cocaine, fentanyl, heroin, and methamphetamine, were down. Most Americans generally don't like receiving campaign-related emails and either delete them or mark them as spam. But one Republican senator has introduced legislation that would ban email platforms from filtering those emails into spam folders. Susan Ferricchio reports South Dakota Senator John Thune said the measure would prohibit email platforms from using filtering algorithms on campaign email if the candidate is running for federal office. A recent North Carolina State University study found Google flagged more Republican campaign emails as spam than Democratic emails during the 2020 election season, while Yahoo and Microsoft Outlook filtered more Democratic emails into spam folders. Google denies its systems screen email traffic to promote or delete based on politics, and that it plans to work with lawmakers and campaigns to ensure its software is providing users with the best experience. A surge in the number of military coups that have brought down democratic governments across Africa can be traced to China's rising global and regional influence, according to regional experts. Guy Taylor reports 7 coups and coup attempts over the past 2 years have put military cliques in control of such resource-rich nations as Chad, Mali, Sudan, Burkina Faso, and Guinea. Unsuccessful coups occurred in Guinea-Bissau and Niger. It's the highest rate of coups on the continent in more than 4 decades. Analysts point to a range of root causes, including a push for influence and profits from the Chinese government, which has directly boosted anti-democratic forces in several vulnerable African countries. You can read all of these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. You can also find our entire lineup of Washington Times podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. And finally, indiscriminate firing by a lone gunman in a crowded public place has accounted for many highly visible mass shootings in America in recent years. But an analysis of data from the Gun Violence Archive finds that those incidents account for less than 4% of mass shootings this year. Of the 267 incidents classified as mass shootings this year by the archive, Jeff Murdoch and Valerie Richardson report roughly 60% were heat-of-the-moment altercations, gang-related shootings, or both. Another 10% were domestic incidents in which relatives were victimized, and 27% were a mix of attacks on specific victims, robberies that went awry, or cases in which a motive couldn't be found. The nonprofit research organization defines mass shootings as those in which 4 or more people are shot, not including the shooter. Many incidents, particularly those on the street or that stem from gang issues, involve multiple shooters. Domestic incidents can turn into mass incidents based on chance, such as who happened to be at the home. The 267 mass shootings in the U.S. so far this year lag slightly behind the 278 incidents through June 15th of last year. Last year was the worst on record since the Gun Violence Archive began tracking mass shootings in 2014. The myriad causes of the violence complicate the search for solutions. Gun control advocacy groups note that the United States is the only country in the world that has more guns than people, with 120.5 firearms per person, according to data from gun research organization Small Arms Survey. Others cite a fatherhood crisis. About 1 in 4 children live without a biological, adoptive, or stepfather at home, according to the National Fatherhood Initiative. The problems associated with absentee dads are well documented, including higher rates of quitting school, drug abuse, and criminal conduct. Still others say the spate of mass shootings is an outgrowth of the nation's overall surge in violent crime. Homicides in major American cities increased 5% last year compared with 2020 and 44% compared with 2019, according to data from the Council on Criminal Justice. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in your favorite podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.